So what I'm going to be doing to this is to create a new concrete material from scratch. So I'm going to come here, Corona. This is maps. I'm going to come here, pick Corona MTL, drag it here, find, excuse me for that, just apply it. Okay, let's find a concrete texture. So I'm going to be using, not this. Okay, maybe this. So I'm going to drag it in and also put this one actually looks good. So let's try and see what we get out of that. Okay, so if I put it here, show it, you can see. So it's quite simple. Let's find some little things to do with it. Actually, I can use that same map for my reflection and for the glossiness, also for the bump as well. Where's bump? Uh, so for my reflection, if I double click on this, I'll set it to 1. So this level of reflection will be 1. And with it being 1, I'm going to reduce the reflective glossiness. Let's see what it is right now. Okay, I'm going to just reduce the opacity, the percentage of reflection here, maybe like 50. And for the glossiness as well, maybe like 50. Okay, so open preview. I think the 50 is okay, but let's look at the, what's it called? The bump at 1 seems to be strong. So let's put it at 0.2. Okay, let's put it out. Maybe 0.5. Okay, or 0.7. All right. So we are going to be using that, and you can see that we can have it, and it's quite cool over there. So that is just for that. I'm okay with this, and if there's any reason to change it, I'm going to see it. So the next thing to do is actually to press render. So I'd like to get rid of all this that I'm not going to be using again. Okay, so I'm only with this, and I'm going to try and do an interactive rendering to just see the way everything looks before I start to render the final image. So I think this is nice. Let me just look all around. This is quite cool for me. It's quite cool. If I check the image again, some little differences because the camera here is actually a little bit to the back, so it's showing this and it's covering some areas, but that one is not a problem. The major thing is to understand the way things work, and I like this particular lighting than this one because you can see I can see much more depth into everything that I did. So this is cool and nice. So we can start uh the main render. This particular render is not the main render. Everything still look blurry and rough if you zoom close to it. So it is not rendering in the correct resolution. So to do the final rendering, you don't need to set any other thing than to just click render. So right now you can see it is 1200 by 1800 pixels. So some of the things that you need to know when you are rendering in Corona is that Corona is CPU based, which means that it's only use your CPU, your processor to render. So, and it is also a progressive render. That means that it's going to continue to render until all the noises are clean, or until you see that, oh, you are okay with it and you can let it go. So you need a very high um, specification of computer. Is quite important, for this. You need a good processor. It will really, really help you to render faster. And in all all I can say is that Corona is a little bit slow to render anyway, compared to Vire. It is slow to render, but yet it gives you many options that you can play with if you want to uh, maximize the render time, and or is it maximize or optimize now? I'm not um, an English person, so just accept my English that way. So, but the major thing is that you can actually optimize things. And now, if I come to statistics, you will see what is giving us. Is giving us all the information that we need. So, since we started rendering, we've rendered for 1 minute 36 seconds, going to 2 minutes now, and also is giving us information about everything we have in the scene. So also we are using UHD catch and path tracing. I'm going to be explaining that very, very soon. And it's quite going well. It's going well and it's really, really nice. If you notice here, we have total number of passes, which is 3, and noise level is unknown for now. So after every 5 passes, that is when we are going to know the level of noise. So I'm going to wait a little bit for it so that you will understand uh, what it means by passes. Passes is this. You can see it is rendering, it's rendering. So it will do this rendering, finish it. That's a pass is gone. Now we have 4 passes. This fifth one also will go. So we'll have 5 passes and it will show us the noise level. The noise level should fall around maybe um, 16 or so, but let's just wait for it. So you can see now after 5 passes, we have 16 noise level. That means the level of noise that we have now is 16. So what can we do? What can we do actually to um, understand about all this? So if you over your cursor on the noise level, it will explain some things to you. So noise level is the estimate of the remaining noise level in the image. A limit for the noise level can be set in render settings, which I'm going to show you now. Around 2% usually being enough for the final images, 5% for the final images with denoising, and anything higher than that being suitable for previews. Note that unlike the number of passes, which increases linearly in time. The noise level decreases non-linearly. The necessary time to have the error, for example, from 10 to 5 is 4 times longer. So what it means is this: the percentage of noise we have is what it is talking about, and it reduces as your render goes. The longer the render, the lesser the noise. But if you notice the number of passes here, it has increased to 6 and it is going to 7. So now they are telling us that, hey, this is the way it works. If our noise level is on 2%, it is good enough for us to use as the final render. It is clear enough. But if it is on 5, it's on 16 now, but it is on 5, it is better to use denoiser with it. What is denoiser? You'll see denoiser here, denoising here, but yet the denoising is not uh cannot be edited here. But don't worry, I'm going to stop the rendering and show you how you can activate the denoiser. That is for that. So they now say anything above 5% is only suitable for uh previews. So one of the things I discovered about many people, especially in this part of the world, Nigeria, that uses um, Corona, is that they don't wait to get the best out of Corona. They just do maybe maybe getting to 10 passes, sorry, 10% of the noise threshold and or noise level, and they are cool with it. They just uh, render it that way. That is not bad. If that is cool for your client, no problem. But if you really, really want to do a good job, definitely you need to do a good job. So you need to actually wait till everything makes sense. So it's always funny because you don't have control over that and you just need to get a good computer. But yet, there are some little things that I will like to do to help me. Number one is the denoiser, and number two, I'm going to be pausing the tutorial after like maybe 15-20 minutes. I'll show you some of the things that I do that I discovered that can actually help my render to be a little bit faster. So now I'm going to just wait till it gets to 10 passes just to show you how it will reduce the noise level. I think from this point now to like maybe 14 or 12. So you can see after 10 passes, it automatically reduces the noise threshold to um, 10.61. Definitely under 30 minutes or so, this should get to maybe like 5%. I'm not sure, but yet let's say under 1 hour, it should get to like 5% noise threshold, because this is what we have now. And according to them, from 10 to 5 should take like 4 times. So if you look at it 4 times, it should be like around 50 minutes or thereabout. So that is quite important to note. But since they told us that if we get to the 5%, we should use the noise sync. So we need to actually know how to set the denoising. So you can stop this and go to the render setup by pressing 8 on your keyboard. Oh, sorry, that should be like F10, but F10 will not work for me right now because of the application that I'm using to record. The F10 will stop the recording. So here, what you can do is to come to performance. The performance, you will see that the primary engine for the global illumination is path tracing. The secondary engine is UHD cache. If you are familiar with V-Ray, what it means is that you are using brute force for the path tracing is can be likened to brute force. So with light catch, so that is what we have here. So it is quite simple and straightforward. All these you don't need to mess with it because everything is okay. You can see this side. Note, the settings below are optimal by default. There is no need to change them unless there is a major problem or you know exactly what you are doing. So there is no need to change anything here. So for the camera, we are using a simple exposure control. We are not using the normal camera. So we don't have to bother too much about this as well. So in the scene, um, you'll see here we have progressive rendering limits. So if I only want, let's say in the statistics, you can see we have 11 passes. So I can actually set my number of passes. So if I set it to 50, for example, let's say 100. So what I'm trying to say is that when the passes here got to 100, when it gets to 100, render should stop. So that means I'm not rendering more than 100 passes. So uh, that is the way it works. Or you can say, okay, I don't want to use that one. I want to use time limit. So let's say I'm only using 10 minutes. So it will render for 10 minutes and will give you the number of passes. Let's say, okay, we have around 10 minutes here, maybe 12 passes or so. And that will be all. So, or you can just, okay, this is 10 hours. This is 10 minutes. You get? So, or you use noise level limit. So for the noise level, you can see we have it here. So I can just set the noise level. Let's say, okay, I want the noise level to be like around 7%. So I don't want to go anything higher than that. You are the one that will control that, but yet I'm just showing you where those things are. But actually, I always leave it. I don't set anything. If I need 5 minutes, I wait till 5 minutes and I stop it. Except if I have to go somewhere. But this is actually good in animation because even for animation, I've not done any animation in Corona yet. So don't let me talk too much about it until when I have a good experience with it. So for the denoiser, you see denoising here, you can choose what you want to use. For the fast preview, when we were rendering, it was giving us fast preview. Definitely, this is what you will go for, which is NVIDIA denoiser. So it is not accurate, but yet it gives us a fast preview. If I enable it now and I render for 5 minutes, it will be clean, but yet it will not be good. So what I use is I use high quality. So I use high quality, and whatever is there is none of my business. I can change them here as well instead of coming here and change. So those are the basic things that you actually need to know about Corona. At least you can quickly start working with all the other settings here. If you understand how to use them in V-Ray, definitely it's going to be really, really simple. That means you can override the environment, you can override the reflection, you can put some images here that are going to show in the reflection instead of what we have right now, and direct visibility, all those things. I don't always set this. So this is as simple as it is. So in your camera, maybe you can enable depth of field if you have it. So you just put all these values and here, and also for the motion blur as well. But we are not treating all that. We are just looking for the simple solution to exterior rendering. Of course, we are going to be using LUT, but we don't need to enable it. We can enable it while we are rendering. So just click that. Let me quickly show you something I saw again. You see, use photographic exposure. Now, that is what I'm used with. I like to actually set my things manually, but because Corona is actually doing a good job, you can see that's why I'm using simple exposure control. But yet, as far as I'm concerned, this is what I use mostly, especially on V-Ray. And I'm going to be making another tutorial for this same thing and how you can achieve the same result actually with V-Ray as well, and not getting everything complicated. So with this, I think we are cool to go, and I'm just going to press render. So in the next 15-20 minutes, I'm going to come back and show you some of the things I noticed when you are rendering with Corona, and it can actually help you in a way to maybe speed up your rendering. But let's us just continue to render right now. Everything that I want to be talking about after it is not in the render setup. It is as it is rendering. I'm going to be making some doing some little things that I feel will actually enhance the render time. So let's just wait for it. So after like 15 minutes, this is what we have. You can see that it is actually looking good and nice. So now there are some certain things that I want you to note. If you notice, the image in itself actually look nice, and this is 1:1, so that means it's the correct scale. This is the way it will look. This is actually the actual size. And while we have noises all over like this, you will notice something, that the areas that are in shadow, actually have much noise than the ones that are not in shadow. So which suggests to us that the areas that will be difficult to calculate and will take time to calculate are the areas in shadow. So what I always do in this case is to use region render here, and this is where Corona beat V-Ray. So I use region render here. So now it will render this side alone for now. So you can see, and you see that the rendering of the passes are now faster because it is rendering just a region, and you can see from 9 it jumps to noise level of like 6. So I'm just going to wait for it maybe to reach 5. So for about 2 minutes or so, we already reach a level that is actually considered to be a good level. According to Corona, we can use this level now, this noise level with denoiser, which I've already activated, and it will give us a good output. Even though I personally, I always go towards 2%, but yet, just to show you some of the things you can do quickly that can actually make the job faster. And if I zoom, you can see this level of noise is okay, is all right to use. So I'm just going to let it do up to 50 passes, and I'm going to move this region to another place. Okay, so we have 50 passes, 4.32 noise. So let's go over to this place. At least I know this area also is in shadow. And now let's wait till it gets to like 55%. It will show us the actual noise threshold, that is a noise level rather, that is a. I'm used to noise threshold because of V-Ray, but it's the same thing. Noise level and noise threshold or something is. So you can see now we have 12.32 around here, which means this area is really noisy. So it is trying to clean it for us. And another thing you notice, if you have ever noticed the work of many people that actually use Corona for their, in their production pipeline, you will notice that they always use white. Why is it that they always use white? It's because white bounces light, so it gives room for less noises. So that is why many of them uses it. So I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that that's why many of them uses it. But if you're an hardcore person like me, I like to do whatever I want to do. I don't want to like to have limits. So I would rather wait and push things. And if I know that I don't have much time for render, then I can just go into V-Ray and do whatever I want to do with it as well. Of course, I'm using the same workflow that we are using here for my V-Ray now, and it's quite simple. You don't have to do any settings in V-Ray as well. But yet, the material creation in V-Ray, if you don't have material library, might actually be a little bit serious, tedious rather. But I have material library, so it is not a problem for me. You can see it is reducing drastically. So we are just going to need to wait for that area as well to reach like maybe 4.2, 4.3, and we'll try this area which is actually bigger than the other ones. So it will really, really help. Of course, we are in 22 minutes render time now. You can see we are already getting something really, really nice. Region render in V-Ray does not work like this, and that is really, really painful. But yet, we have something here that is cool. So as you can see, this part actually takes a lot of time. So definitely, it is one of the areas that are actually going to take a lot of time to render because it is a little bit darker than this area. So that is very, very important to know. It is still really, really far from where we are going, but at least we can see that things are a little bit clean up. So now let's check this area. So by the time we do that for this um, dark area, these areas in shadows, you can see the fence. We can do it around the fence as well, but I will not bother. So it will really, really help us. After 30 minutes, we have this. Let's just wait. So I actually came to this side as well to clean it a little bit. So now just close that region render and allow um, it to render for like maybe next 15 to 20 minutes. I should have a good um, output of everything. By then, everything should look okay for me. Maybe it will have reached 5% noise level, possibly. But let's just wait for it. I always like it to reach 5% noise level before I stop the render, which is actually going to take sometimes. Again, we are already at 52 minutes. So let's just wait. So while we are waiting, some of the strength of Corona is actually in the tone mapping. So we've been doing a lot on it already. So we can actually come to post production again. And one of the things I'm noticing is that if you look at this area here, it is actually overexposed. So I can come back to the highlight compression. Maybe I should give it like 7 or maybe 10. So I can't have anything less than that. Maybe I should make this maybe like zero point 0.7 or zero point 0.5. So I think zero point 0.5 makes sense, but it does not anyway. It does not make sense at all. So just leave it at zero point 0.1. This happens in real life. I'm just trying to see if I can reduce it as much as possible. So this is just a specular highlight. It happens. And if you notice when I zoom, this area is cleaner than this area, so just don't worry, it will be clean. So wait till we have those areas cleaned, and you can even see this area is cleaner than here. I can do it manually, but I just don't want to stress too much on that. Another thing you can do is you can increase the saturation. If I put it on 1, you see, if I put it on point 1, so if I put it on 0, you see the difference. So I always leave that at 0. The filmic highlight, if we start to play with it, if I put it on 1, you can see just making some little effect. So if I put it back on 0, you can see 1. So you see all those highlights are actually dealt with. So you see the difference. So it makes the area uniform. You see. So that's quite nice. I'm going to leave it at 1, and it will really help this area as well. Our filmic shadow, so point 2, point 5, and you can see that we're having a nice contrast. So I think point 5 is okay for me. So the Vignette, I don't always use Vignette in Corona, but you can see putting it on 10, 2, 1.5, 0. So I always use 0. And now loot. If you want to use loot, it's actually going to make sense, and you can see. So Corona weight comes with different loot preloaded. So that's the difference between Corona and Vire anyway. Vire also have loot, but you will need to load it yourself. You will need to actually download your loot yourself. And I think I like this particular one, giving me those crispy color. I'm going to be using this, but I can change the level. So maybe point 2, maybe point 0.5. Point 0.5 is okay for me. Of course, I can do all this also in Photoshop, and this looks nice. I can enable bloom and glare just for you to see the way it works. I'm not going to use it. So the bloom intensity, let's set the glare to like 10. And you can see now we have glare all over this area that we have highlights. So I just increase it unnecessarily just for you to see the way it works. And you can see, oops, that's too bad. So if I put it on 1, 1 should be okay. But yet, this is the way you can use it. You can off it, then save your image, then come back to it and enable it. So when you now enable it, save it as glare, and you can just take it to Photoshop to do post-production. It will actually be nice to do that. So those are the stuffs that you can do. For the denoise, I can actually set it to like 5.5 rather, so that it will do a strong denoising. And you can set it to 1 as well. So disable this for now and just wait till final rendering is done. We're already on 1 hour, so we are still far from it, but actually all those little things that we did actually make it to look a little bit faster. Normally, if I leave it and did not do all those, it will take me about maybe 3 hours. Note that this computer is also a very low-end computer. I like to use low-end to record tutorials, and the major reason is because if I can use low-end to get some nice results in good time, it will help when using high-end computers. It will actually fasten things up, and that is just all about that. So let's just wait till it finished. So I've allowed it to actually render for a while now, and I think it's time to stop the rendering. At least I'm at 4% noise level, and you can see that I'm here. So it will take a longer time, like 4 times longer, to reach 2%. which I don't have the time. But this is quite nice. This is okay, and with denoiser we'll have something really really cool. So we can just click on stop, or maybe we should just wait till it reach 545 passes, and maybe that will be okay for us. So I'm going to stop it now. So it will apply denoiser. So we should wait and see what the denoiser will do. So you can see now the noise is actually cleaned out. So this is nice and cool to work with. You see, we have really, really a nice work. So to save, you see, I'm not using any render element. I'm not using anything. I just have this, and you see here we have alpha, we have beauty. So instead of RGB, it is called beauty past air. So we can save all and pick where to save to, and we'll see in post production. So I'm already here in Photoshop. Just open the image, and even though we saved all, unlike V-Ray, Corona saved only this image. It did not save the alpha. So you can go back and quickly save the alpha channel, alpha dot tiff. I use tiff as the format. So now we can go back, open that alpha channel. You can actually drag it into um, this. Okay. So the things that I can do is, if you remember, I actually got the back plate for this HDRI, so I can quickly find it and load it into the scene. So these are the back plates. I'll just click, drag. So okay, I'm going to use this particular one. Just click open image. So drag it into this, and you can see that it's quite big. So I'll put it at the back. So okay, save this. I put it at the back. I'll enable this alpha channel and come to selection, under select color range. So I'll pick white, and I have this. So if I put this layer on now, see what we have over there. So I'll just apply the layer mask. So with the layer mask now, you see the sky is gone. I have this sky that I just added, and I can move the sky up. You can see moving it. I can press Ctrl T to transform that sky. So I will scale it. So I press Shift while scaling it. So my voice is cracking right now because it's already late in the evening. So I have that, and that's cool. And I can adjust the exposure a little bit. No, I will not use exposure. I will use curve on it because I've discovered that I will drag, down some highlights, just drag it down, and you can see what I have there. That is pretty cool. So, and it is corresponding with the exposure that we have in the image. Try, just trying to see. Okay. So if I press, I can delete this now. I don't need it again. If I press Ctrl Alt Shift E together, I have all the images, all of these layers merged into one. And now, like I always do, Color Effects Pro. So I just use it to adjust the contrast and to remove the color cast. Just some basic settings, and you can see the difference. So you have to highball it, and this is really different. If I click OK, and you can see the difference. So that little contrast, it goes a long way. And with this now, I only need to duplicate it and apply sharpen. So use smart sharpen so that everything becomes so sharp. Then I put it on 200 anyway, so I can adjust this to like 30. So it doesn't need to be too obvious. And apply curve for more contrast. Okay, off and on. You can see little differences. So I discovered that these shadows, even though they are not that bad, but you can see here too dark. So what I'm going to do is I'll Control Shift E again. I use camera raw filter. Then I will only come to shadow and black. Then I will enhance the shadow, and you can see what we have now. Of course, it is affecting all the areas in the image, but let's just get a fair look first for the black as well. So click OK. You can see the difference. So since I only want it in this area, what I'll do is I'll apply a black layer mask by pressing Alt on the keyboard and clicking on the mask. And I'll press B and reduce the brush size and press X to make sure that this is white. And I begin to brush into the area that I want. So just so simple. I think I need to reduce the brush opacity here. Press X again. After that, I can see the difference. I think I can put it around there. So that is just it. It's quite simple and straightforward. So I'll just click Save As, and I'll put PNG. So thank you.